you excited about the new season? Are you excited about the new shows? Let's talk about them. Some of the shows are starting this week, some are starting next week, some started a week or two ago. So we're going to talk about it all. Hi, I'm Lori, and this is Did You See That Show? So let's talk about shows that have already started. One of the first shows that started was Dancing with the Stars. Now, I normally don't really do reality shows, but that was the only show that started. If I do reality shows, it tends to be more like dancing, singing, talent type of thing. That's really the only type of reality shows that I saw. So let's get into dancing. I have to say, I hardly heard of any of these stars, which is nothing new for Dancing with the Stars because they tend to do that. It's really about dancing, teaching dance, and watching these people progress. They usually have one or two people, maybe three that you heard of for the life of me. As far as dancing wise, I don't see how Andy has continued. Yes, he's likable guy, but it turns it into more of who's your favorite dancer rather than who is the best dancer. And sometimes that's the problem with these reality shows where the audience has a big say so in who goes on and who goes home. There's always going to be controversy. There is in every season. There's controversy with who wins. Same thing with American Idol. A lot of people thought that Adam Lambert should have won. Did he not win because he's gay? He definitely had the most talent. Did he not win because he was not popular? Uh, did the show actually have a say in it as far as saying we don't want a gay person to win? I don't know. That's a whole different category in itself. So last night I watched, they had dedication night. Yes, it was very emotional. And I really enjoyed the fact that the person that the dance was dedicated to actually played a part in the dance. I think that was a great move. Now, Dancing with the Stars, they've had some good moves before. Like they had it where you would mix up, let's say, like a samba and a tango or a combo dance. That worked out great. They did it for a few years and stopped. Why? I don't know. I'm not a TV executive. They also had where they invited another pro to dance with them so that there were three of them. They did that for a few years and stopped. I thought this was a really good idea, and hopefully they'll bring it back at least for a couple years. The only problem I see is sometimes people dedicate it to a late parent or a late person. So obviously you can't have them join you. That's again is a whole different story. So we had a premiere this week. We had 911 Nashville. So let me know in the comments what your thought was because I obviously have some. Chris O'Donnell, he played Captain. And my opinion of Chris O'Donnell, I think he could act. He just has this very one tone, one very shows very little emotion in his character. He's just doesn't have a huge personality. Is that going to carry over into the show? I don't know. Is it going to hurt? I don't think so, because I think he's a very well-liked person, and I think that they have enough people with big personalities that could take over in that. Now, I wish that maybe he would have a bigger personality, and maybe he will. I know when he was on NCIS LA, he was a very even, not a huge emotional person. Was that acting or is that him? Time will tell. He had a small part in Grey's Anatomy. It was only 3 or 4 episodes, and it wasn't a big role. He played a veterinarian who was dating Meredith Grey, and again, it was a very small role, so it was hard to say, and it didn't last for very long. So, hopefully, they'll bring out a little bit of personality. I know in the 911 shows before, you had Bobby, who actually for the most part was pretty level, but he did have a personality. He loved to cook for the station. He didn't really love to talk about his past, but that was a big part of the story about starting a fire, his alcoholism, and so forth. So hopefully they'll bring out something like that with Chris O'Donnell. And as far as 911 Austin, their captain, he, he had a very big personality. Time will tell. I think the supporting cast is very, and they do have great personalities. I really like Blue. I think he's going to be a breakout character. As far as an on the job trainee type of person, I don't even know if the fire department has that, but it's TV, it's entertainment. It doesn't have to follow reality 100%. It is TV. And the medical shows, they don't follow it exactly. And it's TV. That's it's entertainment. And you can't follow things exactly or it just won't be interesting and you'll lose viewers. So I was somewhat impressed with the 911 Nashville. It's I know it's at least two parts. Is it going to be three? I personally think two parts is enough. Three just drags that story out line on just a little bit too much for me. Now 911, the regular series, it's going to be a three-part. They've done that before. Again, not my favorite, but I'm only one viewer. I'm only giving you my opinion. Let me know in the comments. Do you think two parts is enough? I do. You don't want to stick on the same story for too long. They only have anywhere from like 18 to 21 episodes at most. You don't want to spend three episodes on the same subject, and all of their emergencies a little far-fetched. I don't know if they would really happen in real life. 911, they're going into space. They're going to have a disaster. Do you really think that our 911 responders are going to go into space and rescue them? Come on, it's entertainment. Just like in the past, when they had them on the boat that turned over, like the Poseidon Adventure? Do you really think the 911 responders are going to go out to the middle of the sea in a hurricane and rescue these people? Let alone the pirates and so forth that are on there. Could something like that possibly happen in real life? Possibly. Do you really expect 911 Los Angeles to respond to that? I don't know, but it's entertainment. It's the show, all the 911 shows, very far-fetched. It's did the paramedics really amputate people's limbs just to get them out? Very rare, if it happens at all. They're not trained for that. They're not surgeons, but again, it's entertainment. Now, we also had the premiere of Matlock. I really like that show. I really like Kathy Bates. Now, as far as the court cases in there, not too interesting. The day-to-day court cases. It's the backstory about the opioid epidemic and what they did to hide it and so forth. I think that was the main thing. Now, it looks like that story might be coming to an end. Are they going to go to the Times? I doubt it myself, because if they do, that kind of takes away that whole storyline and where are they going to go from there? And if people go to jail with that firm, what is Matlock going to get a job in another law firm? And then there won't be any backstory. I don't know, because she doesn't really need the money because obviously she's pretty wealthy. So I think they're going to play around with it. Trouble is, don't play around with it too much because that backstory, that is the main thing of the show. So we had the Grey's Anatomy premiere. I was really looking forward to that. I'm a huge Grey's Anatomy fan. So they pretty much showed us what happened after the explosion, who lived, who didn't. And for the most part, I thought it was pretty good. I do like the way that Meredith just took the medical students, broke into the clinic, and started working. Again, I don't understand why they didn't let Meredith back into the hospital. She obviously was just coming out, so she should have had her ID because how did she get in the hospital in the first place without it? But again, it's TV. They don't go for little things like that. I just happen to notice them. So let me know what you thought. Is Link gonna like Dr. Mark and eventually succumb to his injuries? I don't think so. I think that Lincoln's going to have a very long recovery. And I think a lot of the story is going to be around that. Is he going to be healthy enough to help with his twins when they're born? It might take him a good year or longer to recover. How's he going to handle that? He hasn't had a situation like that since he was a child and had cancer and had to recover from that. How's Joe going to handle that? She's going to take on all the responsibility herself. What's that going to do to their relationship? Joe, it's known that people have left her in her past relationships. Is Lincoln to run into some problems healing? It'd be one of those people that just gives up because he's going through something. We'll have to wait and see. That's a possible storyline. I don't think people, when they're in that way of thought, make the best decisions. How's he going to handle not being able to go to work all the time and a little bit of a hero complex with saving people and stuff like that? How's he going to handle that? One of the big questions in that show, Richard Weber, is he going to retire? I don't think so. He may slow down or take more of an administrative role, less surgeries, that type of thing. Because we already saw that in past seasons that he's not totally up to date on some of the newer surgeries and goes back to the old way of doing it. So some of his surgeries are going to be limited. Now, we have coming up, isn't out yet. They're having a spin-off of that with Sheriff Country. We'll have to see how that goes. Doc, that's come back there. I think they've already had 3 episodes. I really like that show. I think it's very interesting. It's basically Dr. Amy, who was, lack of any other terms, basically a bitch, but a very well talented one. She was in a car accident and lost 8 years of her memory and doesn't remember divorcing her husband, her new boyfriend. She has to reprove herself in order to be a doctor again and is basically a medical student. She doesn't know who is her real friend, who's really betraying her, and so forth. Now the memories are slowly coming back. Is she going to regain her memories? I don't think so. I did a video on that. If it should be out soon, if it's not out, because that would change the whole premise of the show. Because it's all about those 8 years and slowly coming back, and all of a sudden, poof! If she has all her memories, what's going to happen to the show? It's a whole different type of show. So I don't think so. I think they're going to tease a little bit. Some selective memories are going to come back in time. And just to let you know, this is based on an Italian show, same premise, only it was a male doctor, and he did not regain his memory in full. He just had fragments. So I think that's the way this is going to go. They tend to follow the series that was done in the past. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, I think FBI just came out last night. I only watched one of them, so I have not watched that yet. We have some new shows. Boston Blue is coming out, which covers Danny from Blue Bloods. He's moved to Boston, which I hope they give us a good explanation because they're such a deep family from Blue Bloods. Why he all of a sudden would move to Boston, we'll have to wait and see. So let me know in the comments what you think of the new shows and the shows about to come, because I'd like to share them with you. Let me know. I've been doing some nostalgia type of shows, a little bit about them. I have coming out, if it's not already out, a little bit of a deep dive into Friends. If you'd like to see those things, let me know in the comments because I want to steer this channel into what you guys want. Don't particularly care either way. I'm here to give my opinion, recap shows if that's what you want, dives into other shows. Just let me know in the comments.